many can say my hallelujah? Amen. He has everything in only. Amen. We're going to have our scripture now, and it's going to be read by Brother Leroy Willoughby, and it's coming from Isaiah 46, verses 3 to 9. If you would please stand, the scripture is in the program.
Morning, church.
Good morning.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
I'm reading from Isaiah chapter 46, verses 3 through 9. Isaiah 46, verses 3 through 9. It reads as follows. Hearken to me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnants of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb. And even to your old age, I am he. Even to old age, I carry you. I have made, I will bear, even I will carry, and I will deliver you. To whom will you liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we may be like? They lavish gold out of the bag, and weigh silver in the balance, and hire a goldsmith, and he maketh it a god. They fall down, yea, they worship. They bear him up on the shoulder, they carry him, and set him in his place, and he standeth. From his place shall he not remove. Yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer, nor save him out of his trouble. Remember this, and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me. Blessed to the reading, the hearing, and the understanding of these words. Amen.
Once you pick up the rhythm and the madness of it, you can join in with us, all right? Well, let's sing today. I want to go where Jesus is. I want
Shaw the third. matchless name of Jesus the Christ. Those of you, we're going to celebrate seniors today.
Thank you. Amen.
We're going to talk to them. And I guess we want some of the young folk, because they might want not to do if they want to become seniors. Amen.
That's right.
See, I don't know about you, but I think that everybody here should at least want to become a senior.
Amen.
Hopefully I'll last a couple more years so I can start getting some of the benefits. I'm getting the old age, but I ain't getting the benefits yet. So I'm going to try to work towards hanging around a few more years if that's God's will. Amen. Those of you who have the Bibles, you can open them up to the book of Isaiah. Or just look at the bulletins and front cover and cover. I'm not going to be able to read it as Brother Willoughby. I don't have that accent. I can't do one more accent.
It's good.
You go on, there you go. There you go. See, now you know how you got it. I go all these places, you go to the different cities and different countries, and you hear the accents. I said, I'm from New York, I don't have an accent. Those accents, they help you out. It reads, and even to your old age I am he. And even the hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry, and will deliver you. Isaiah 46. And even to your old age I am he, and even to the hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear. Even I will carry, and will deliver you. And we're going to speak from the topic this morning, remember God. Remember God. Now let us look through the word and pray. Our Father and our God, we just ask now that you let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, my Lord and my Redeemer. And let all of God's children say amen.
Amen.
Remember God. As we journey through life, we'll find that there has always been someone there to help us along the way. There's always been someone to help us during troubled times. There's always been someone there to help us even when we thought that we were all alone. How many times have you through the years gotten yourself in a mess, and somehow you got out of that mess, but still to this day you don't know how you got out of that mess? Amen. Oh, y'all getting quiet. Y'all act like y'all don't remember. I thought y'all were seniors. Okay. I don't know about you, but I've been in some stuff and don't know how I got out of this stuff. But all I can say is, but God.
Yes.
But for the grace of God.
Amen.
I'm still here.
Yes.
When we look at our seniors, we see that they are the ones who help build faith communities and families. Some enjoy being seniors. Others who may either not take aging well, and our society sure doesn't, or who believe age is just a number, can be called elders. Then there are those who are due thanks and even praise as our grandparents. We must always remember those whose fortitude, those whose self-sacrifice and hard work cleared paths for us. Some did it by making their homes safety nets. Some did it by working on jobs that were decent but difficult. But their main concern was the welfare of their families. They built things, they invented things, they laid the foundation for the ever-shrinking manufacturing industry in America. Others did it by being community-minded and working in movements and arenas as unsung heroes who who were concerned about what type of future they were leaving for the next generation. Still others served in churches, they served in temples, they served in mosques and synagogues, faithfully helping their faith communities grow, helping them hold on to the treasured traditions and remain forces for good. In Africa, seniors and elders have long been honored. They were the village leaders to whom others went to for counsel, for comfort, and for an understanding of important traditions. We can learn from those countries in which the elders were honored. Unfortunately, too often now we are seeing young grandparents, some even in their 30s. These grandparents have had to put on hold their own personal and financial maturation. They typically paid a great price for doing so, but believe that the sacrifice is worth it for the strength of the family. In this country, most of these seniors I see and meet around the country are not faring well. Instead of golden years filled with friends, a decent place to live, grandchildren, and a favorite volunteer project and leisure travel every now and then, they too many face a different and most depressing reality. I don't know about you, but you need to thank God for this Co-op City community.
Amen.
I thank God that you live in a community that provides for their seniors, that has senior services, that has programs, that have places that plan trips for you to go. And when you have a problem or have an issue, you have people who you can go to who will advocate on your behalf.
Amen.
Most seniors around the country don't have that. Most of them have no place to go and feel all alone. Some have to go back to work because their pension plans have fallen apart or medical costs gobbled up their savings. It seems to take only one major illness to do that these days. Many did not save enough to retire and are barely scraping by on Social Security and other limited government benefits, and a few have children who can chip in sometimes to help them out. Then there are those who are taking care of grandchildren on a regular basis, mainly because their children are incarcerated or on drugs. Finally, there are the seniors who are disabled. They are in the worst of the worst social and economic conditions. They face skyrocketing medical costs, discrimination due to their disabilities, and communities ill-equipped or lacking the will to assist them. Those in this predicament, Isaiah chapter 46, verses 3 and 4 is a word that they need. God speaks to the people of God in verses 3 and 4. God calls these Israelites who have suffered under the Babylonians a remnant, and calls for their attention. Listen to me, O house of Jacob, all the remnant of the house of Israel. God can command their attention because the God who beckons them is the same God who created them and who brought them out of Egypt, their first exile. This is not a God who begins to care for a people and then abandons them. This is the God who carries through old age. Even when people turn gray, God will carry. Then to show the completeness of his care, the Creator says, I have made, I will bear, I will carry, and I will save.
Amen.
This is all anyone needs from God, creation, bearing with to be carried, and salvation.
Amen.
These are words of hope, words of love and expectation for seniors. It's not easy being an elder in much of today's world. Elders are no longer held in the high esteem that characterized the great dynasties of old and even the America of old. Too often today, seniors are seen as disposable or are ignored altogether until they are needed by some entity such as politicians. In America, youth reigns, power reigns, but God affirms his continued presence. You will not be forgotten. I will be with you even as the world chases youth and physical strength. This is not some Tommy God. This is the God who remembers and remains.
Amen. Amen.
Most seniors realize that getting out of bed, going up and downstairs, and even in and out of cars is not always easy to do.
Amen.
That's loud as
Amen.
Even if one is physically fit, time has a slowing effect and a drooping effect on the body. But the ruler and sustainer of the universe uses the word carry as a metaphor that gives comfort to those who know exactly how it feels when limbs are no longer very dependable. In a world of constant turbulence and so many unpleasant surprises, even the young, listen to this young folk, should be thankful for a God who is willing to carry them. Through physical challenge, God carries elders, but God also carries us through any life challenge that we encounter.
Amen.
Young folk, you're going to encounter some challenges throughout this life. Well, you're going to need to call on the name of the Lord at different times in your life. That's why they tell us in Ecclesiastes to remember the Lord while you are young. Because you can do something that us old folk can no longer do. Remember, this passage was spoken to exiles. Not all of them were seniors, but they all needed God to carry. And let me repeat that in case some of you all decided to, take a little dip for your nap. Not all of them were seniors, but they all needed God to carry. I don't care how much stuff you think you can do on your own. Ain't nothing here you can do without God.
Amen.
But for those who were seniors, those who thought that they would not see total freedom again, it was an even bigger deal that the God of Israel, in spite of their repeated ungodly behavior, had not only never deserted, but also helped them endure to old age, even in exile. But God's promise to carry them in Isaiah 46 is more than God's promise to help them endure. The passage speaks of Zion, an actual restored place to which the exiles will be carried. The God who made us takes responsibility for our being our creator. Some folk will have you, but then they'll dispose of you. Amen. You all ever have some friends who were friends for a while, but then they decide they didn't know you when you needed to know them? Some of y'all will get that a little late. Our God does not shrink his responsibility to us, even though we often cannot make the same claim even in our old age. In creating us, God also knows our life cycle and is intimately acquainted with the nature of our aging process. God is not surprised by how our bodies function in old age and know what they will and will no longer do. Your body might surprise you, but it doesn't surprise God. We are the creation of God, and God blesses us at every phase of life.
Amen.
We are the creation of God, and God blesses us.
Hallelujah.
Somebody say,
Yes. Hallelujah.
at every phase of life. In old age, as we watch our bodies almost seem to betray us, it is great comfort to know that there's one who created us, has formed us and fashioned us in a way that was pleasing to him.
Amen.
So you may no
Yeah.
longer like
Yeah.
your body, somebody else may no longer like your body, but God knows
Yeah.
your body.
Yes.
There's also a word to seniors who are not caring for their bodies as well as they could. Too many of us are sick, scooter bound, and a burden to our children and grandchildren because of our bad habits. Soon, since we have been given the gift of such magnificent bodies, listen to this, young folk, we owe it to God, we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our families, and we owe it to our friends to treat our bodies with the utmost care all the days of our lives. Now, some of us are just now receiving the benefits or the lack of benefits of what we put in our body when we were younger. Amen. Well, you know, what we did to our bodies when we were younger. You know that stuff that parents told you not to do, but you thought you were doing anything that you were big enough and bad enough to do. Leave that alone. Leave that alone. Y'all choose not to remember. Y'all got that selective amnesia. I have acquaintances who are in their 70s and 80s and have regular exercise routines and stay involved in the world to keep their minds sharp. Aging poorly is our choice, not God.
Amen.
Yeah, I see a lot of y'all in the gym working up a sweat. Amen.
Amen.
That's a good thing.
Yep.
That's a good thing.
thing.
Even if you can turn the wheel around once, that's one more time you would have done it if you stayed home, right? So sometimes you just got to get out there. And today you do it once, tomorrow you do it twice, and next thing you know, you're doing a mile or 2 miles. Have I got a witness?
Amen. Amen.
So much is placed on the shoulders of today's seniors, especially those who serve as grandparents due to the many circumstances, the death of a parent, the mental illness of a parent, the substance abuse of a parent, the incarceration of a parent, and even due to the inability of young parents to parent. Amen?
Amen.
You know, some folks got kids that you say, nah, you can't take care of them, give them to me. Amen? For the kids' welfare, sometimes you see what's happening in there and you say, hey, if this kid's going to make it, I'm going to have to take it. And that's a blessing if it has to happen. These grandparents need help. Yes, God will bear them up, but we are the hands and feet of God. God needs us to co-labor with him in ensuring that our seniors are not overburdened, not overstretched, and economically and emotionally and overworked. More than ever, faith communities need initiatives that aid grandparents so that they do not continue to fall through the social cracks and are not left alone to bear such heavy burdens. Yes, God will bear, but what about us as a society? Here, repetition of I will carry is a way to offer assurance to those in exile. God is giving emphasis to this point. Then he, the one who provides salvation, declares he will save. Oh, y'all should be shocked. First, those to whom this passage was first written needed saving. They had been overrun by the Babylonians in one of 3 deportations. Those who were seniors had seen a lot and endured a lot from captors and dictator kings. In fact, some of them had been in exile so long that by the time of this writing, they were largely second-generation exiles. Into this circumstance comes Isaiah with a strong word declaring God's intent to save and sustain the people of Israel. But to be saved, they also must act. They are not to passively accept their circumstance of exile. Church, when you've got problems and when you've got issues, you're not to accept those bad circumstances. Seniors, church, remember God, the one who keeps and sustains us. Remember God during your lonely moments. Remember God when you think that you're all alone. Remember God when times are good. Remember God in your midnight hours. Remember God when you're sick. Remember God when you're well. Remember God when you're feeling down and out. Remember God when your body's in pain. Remember God when you need somebody to count on. Remember God, and God will remember you. Oh, when you're going into that operating room, remember God. Oh, when you're feeling your aches and pains and trying to make it, remember God. Oh, when you wake up in the morning, remember God and say, thank you, Jesus. Oh, I may be in pain, but I'm glad that I can feel the pain. I know there's some folks that are in pain that don't even know they're in pain. You got to remember God. When you walk your off this morning, remember God. Because He puts food on your table. Remember God because He makes a way out of no way for you. Remember God because God has always remembered you. He saves you from dangers seen and dangers unseen. He saves you from problems that may have come about, but because you remembered Him in prayer, He takes care of your problem before it even gets to you. You serve a God who will never leave us or forsake us. You serve a God who will never let the righteous be begging for bread. You serve a God who takes care of us. Let me share something with you. If you live long enough, you're going to get old. If you live long enough, you're going to get old. In every age, especially when our hair turns gray and comes out like mine, and turns toward the ground, that means to start to thin out and to fall out. As I've heard the old folks say, we take great consolation in a God who sticks and stays, creates and carries, bears and saves. This is the God to whom we shall cling. Sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes almost level to the ground. But we're holding on because we know if we put our hand in the Master's hand, and everything. But we are assured that when all else fails, when the stormy clouds assail, when our bodies begin to sink, and when the world turns its attention from us into the next new thing, we serve a God who will never, never leave us alone. No matter how lonely you feel, God is still there for you. All you've got to do is call upon His name. Amen. To everything. This is our hope. This is our great consolation. That God will be with us. That God will sustain us. That God will carry us. And most of all, God, if we know Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, has already saved us. Amen. Yes. Yes. Door of the church